Alright, let's talk about Nvidia. Because what's happening with this company is pretty wild, and it tells us a lot about the state of AI right now. So, Nvidia just dropped its latest earnings report, and honestly, the numbers are staggering. We're talking sales and profits soaring by more than 60% compared to this time last year. Think about that for a second. For a company that's already a giant, a 60% jump is just massive. Their CEO, Jensen Huang, who's become a bit of a rock star in the tech world, basically said that sales are, and I'm paraphrasing here, completely off the charts. It's not just a good quarter, it's a phenomenal one. To put some concrete numbers on this, Nvidia is now forecasting revenue of around $65 billion for the next quarter alone. That number absolutely crushed what Wall Street analysts were expecting. It's like a sports team not just winning the game, but winning by a score nobody thought was even possible. And Nvidia's argument, stemming from these incredible results, is pretty simple. How can this be a bubble when the demand is so real and so massive? They're pointing to the scoreboard and saying, look, this isn't hype, this is real business. This directly tackles the big, scary question that's been hanging over the tech industry for the past year or so. Are we in an AI bubble? You hear it all the time. Is this just like the dot-com boom of the late 90s, where tons of companies with no real products or profits were getting valued in the billions, only for it all to come crashing down? Nvidia is making a very strong case that no, this is different. They're arguing that the demand for their chips, the very hardware that powers this AI revolution, is foundational. It's not just speculative excitement. It's a fundamental shift in technology, and they are providing the picks and shovels for this new gold rush. Some analysts are totally on board with this view. They look at Nvidia's numbers and see a company that's firing on all cylinders, with a clear path for future growth. They see the explosion in AI applications, from chatbots to drug discovery to autonomous driving, and they believe the demand for the computing power to run these things will only continue to grow exponentially. From this perspective, Nvidia isn't overvalued. It's just priced for a future where AI is integrated into everything. It's a bet on a paradigm shift, and Nvidia is at the very center of it. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Despite these blowout numbers and the confident message from their CEO, the broader market's reaction was lukewarm. After the earnings report came out, Nvidia's stock actually slipped by about 1%. Now, a 1% dip isn't a disaster by any means, but you'd expect a company that just announced such incredible results to see its stock soar, right? This hesitation from the market tells us that the fear of an AI bubble is still very much alive and well. The big money investors, the ones who move markets, aren't completely convinced yet. They see the massive gains and they start to get nervous. It's like climbing a very tall mountain. The higher you go, the more you start to worry about the fall. So, why the skepticism? Well, part of it is just the sheer scale of the numbers we're talking about. Nvidia is projecting that by the end of this decade, the annual global spending on AI infrastructure could reach a mind-boggling $3 to $4 trillion. Let that sink in. Trillion with a T. That's more than the entire economy of many developed countries. When you start throwing numbers like that around, it's natural for people to question if it's sustainable. Can the world really support that level of spending on AI year after year? And it's not just a far-off prediction, it's happening right now. The big tech giants, companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta, are already projected to spend roughly $400 billion just this year on building out their AI capabilities. They're in a frantic race to not get left behind. Each one is trying to build the most powerful AI models, the most useful AI tools, and to do that, they need tens of thousands of Nvidia's chips. This intense competition is what's driving a huge portion of Nvidia's sales. The question is, will this spending spree continue at the same pace indefinitely? Or will these companies eventually reach a point where they've built out enough infrastructure and the spending starts to level off? That's a major source of the uncertainty. Another angle to consider is the competition. Right now, Nvidia is the king of the hill. Their GPUs are the gold standard for training and running large AI models. But you can bet that every other major chipmaker, and even some of Nvidia's biggest customers, are working tirelessly to develop alternatives. Companies like AMD are making progress, and tech giants like Google and Amazon are designing their own custom AI chips to reduce their reliance on Nvidia. If a viable competitor emerges that can offer similar performance at a lower cost, it could start to eat into Nvidia's market share and profit margins. Investors are always looking over the horizon, and the threat of future competition is a big reason for their caution. So you have this fascinating tug-of-war. On one side, you have Nvidia posting historic, undeniable results, fueled by what they call a new industrial revolution. They see a future where AI transforms every industry, and they are the central engine of that transformation. They're trying to calm the market's nerves, presenting these figures as proof of solid, sustainable demand. On the other side, you have a skeptical market. Investors who've seen bubbles before are looking at the meteoric rise of Nvidia's stock price and the astronomical spending forecasts and getting a sense of vertigo. They're worried about sky-high expectations, intense capital expenditure from tech giants that might not last forever, and the looming threat of competition. The 1% dip in the stock, while small, is symbolic of this deep-seated doubt. It shows that even a perfect earnings report isn't enough to completely erase the fear that this incredible AI boom might have a bust on the other side. Think about the psychological aspect. When a stock or a sector goes up this fast, it attracts a lot of attention. People start buying in, not just because they believe in the long-term fundamentals, but because they have a fear of missing out. This FOMO can drive prices up even further, creating a self-reinforcing cycle that looks a lot like a bubble. The smart money knows this, and they're constantly trying to figure out how much of the current price is based on real value and how much is based on hype and speculation. So, what does this all mean for the future? We're essentially at a crossroads. One path leads to the future Nvidia envisions, a sustained multi-trillion-dollar AI economy where their dominance continues, and their current valuation is more than justified. The other path leads to a correction, where the initial gold rush slows down, spending plateaus, competition heats up, and valuations come back down to earth. This wouldn't necessarily mean AI is a failure. It would just mean the initial hype outpaced the reality of its implementation. The truth is, nobody knows for sure which path we're on. Both sides have very compelling arguments. The demand for AI is undeniably real, and the technological advancements are happening at a breathtaking pace. At the same time, the history of financial markets is littered with examples of exciting new technologies that led to speculative bubbles. What Nvidia's latest earnings report has done is to sharpen the focus of this debate. It's thrown a huge log on the fire for the "this is real" camp, while also making the "this is a bubble" camp even more nervous about the dizzying heights we've reached. The slight dip in the stock shows that the market is still trying to make up its mind. The doubt hasn't disappeared. If anything, the stakes have just gotten higher. It's a high-wire act, and the whole world is watching to see if Nvidia and the AI industry as a whole can make it to the other side. It's going to be fascinating to watch this unfold over the next few quarters and years. Will the tech giants keep up their massive spending? Will a strong competitor to Nvidia emerge? Will the real-world economic benefits of AI start to justify these huge investments? These are the billion and maybe even trillion-dollar questions. For now, the debate rages on. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this breakdown interesting, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of tech and finance. See you in the next one.